Have you ever had one of those mornings where you wake up, sit on the edge of the bed, and think, what now? Maybe the house is quiet. Maybe the phone hasn't rung in days. And maybe, just maybe, you're wondering if the best days are behind you. Well, I'm here to tell you, they're not. Not even close. I'm 74 years old, and some days I swear I feel more alive now than I did at 40. Now, don't get me wrong, my knees crack when I stand up, and my back likes to whisper complaints now and then, but joy doesn't care how old you are. It just needs a little space to breathe. And believe me, there are women out there in their 70s, 80s, even 90s, living with a light in their eyes and laughter in their hearts. How? That's what we're going to talk about today. In this video, I'm sharing 12 little things, daily habits, really, that truly happy women over 70 do. These aren't complicated or expensive. No miracle cures or exotic retreats here. Just simple, soulful things that can make your day a whole lot brighter. Whether you're already feeling pretty good or you're stuck in a rut and need a little nudge, I hope this gives you something to smile about. So, let's start with something that might sound small but is huge for your mood, energy, and even your health. It's waking up with intention. I know. You're probably thinking, what does that even mean? It means not just rolling out of bed and letting the day happen to you. It means taking a moment, just a moment, to sit quietly and think, what do I want from today? When I wake up, before I even brush my teeth, I say something out loud. It might be, today I choose peace, or I'm going to laugh at something today. It's like setting the tone before the music even starts. You don't have to meditate or light a candle, unless you want to. But deciding what kind of day you want, that's power. That's control. And for women like us, who've spent a lifetime caring for others, isn't it nice to take care of yourself first, even if it's just with a sentence? Now, once I've set my intention, I always make sure I move my body. I'm not talking about jogging 5 miles or joining a Pilates class full of 30-year-olds in matching yoga pants. I'm talking about stretching, walking around the garden, maybe doing a few circles around the living room if the weather's bad. Movement wakes up the spirit. It gets the blood flowing, loosens the joints, and tells your brain, hey, we're still in the game. And let me tell you, happy women over 70, we don't stay still for too long. We know that a still body becomes a stiff body. So even if it's just dancing to an old Sinatra song while making tea, we move. It's not about looking fit. It's about feeling alive. Speaking of feeling alive, here's another habit that makes a world of difference, connecting, every single day, with someone. It doesn't have to be a grand social event. Sometimes it's a phone call to a friend. Sometimes it's chatting with the cashier at the store. Other times it's waving to the neighbor from your porch. The point is, we're not made to go through life alone, especially not now. Loneliness is sneaky. It creeps in when we stop reaching out. And listen, I've had my fair share of days where I didn't want to talk to anyone. Maybe I felt tired. Maybe I was sad and couldn't quite put my finger on why. But every time I've pushed myself, just a little, to say hello, to ask someone how their day is, to share a laugh, even with a stranger, I felt better. Happier. More grounded. We all need a little human sunshine now and then. Another thing happy women do every day? We find beauty in something small. I know it sounds poetic, but it's practical, too. When I was younger, I used to rush through everything. Always planning, always doing. But now, I take time to notice the way the light hits the leaves in the afternoon. I admire the pattern on my teacup. I even marvel at the way my cat stretches out like royalty on the couch. It might seem silly, but these tiny moments of beauty, they're like vitamins for the soul. They remind us that joy isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes, it's quiet and gentle. And the happiest women? We train our eyes to see it. Every day. Now that we've covered waking up with intention, moving our bodies, connecting with others, and savoring small moments of beauty, let's talk about another powerful daily habit. Letting go of what doesn't serve us anymore. And I don't just mean old clothes or clutter in the kitchen drawers, although clearing those out can feel fantastic. I mean the little grudges, the nagging thoughts, the stories we replay in our minds that only make us feel smaller. See, when you've lived over 70 years, you've likely seen your fair share of disappointment. People let us down. Plans change. Life throws curveballs, sometimes one after the other. But happy women? We don't let those things weigh us down for too long. We give ourselves permission to let go. One thing I started doing, and I still do every day, is this: I pause and ask myself, is this worth carrying into tomorrow? It might be something someone said that rubbed me the wrong way. Or a mistake I made, even years ago, that likes to resurface when I least expect it. But instead of letting it linger, I breathe deep in, slow out, and imagine setting it down like a heavy bag I no longer need to hold. Some people pray, some write it in a journal, others talk to a friend. However you do it, releasing those little emotional weights. It frees up space for joy to return. And while we're talking about joy, let me share something else that lights me up: doing something creative every single day. Now, don't roll your eyes and say, "Oh, I'm not creative." Nonsense. We're all creative. Maybe you knit. Maybe you cook. Maybe you like doodling little flowers on notepads or arranging your bookshelf just so. Creativity isn't about perfection. It's about expression. Me? I paint. Not well, mind you. But I paint flowers, skies, sometimes little birds. There's something magical about making something that didn't exist before, even if it's just a silly poem or a new way of wearing an old scarf. It keeps the mind sharp and the spirit playful. And happy women? We make time for play. We don't let the world tell us we're too old for imagination. Another thing I've noticed about the happiest women I know, and this one's a biggie, they practice gratitude like it's a daily ritual. Not in a fake, smile and pretend everything's perfect kind of way, but in a real, honest, from the heart way. Even on the hard days, and yes, we all still have them, they find something to be thankful for. The smell of coffee. The warmth of a pet curled up beside them. A kind word from a neighbor. A body that still gets them out of bed, even if it creaks a little. I have a small notebook by my nightstand, and before I sleep, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Some nights it's deep and profound. Other nights it's my feet didn't hurt today, and I finally remembered where I put my glasses. But it matters. Because when you train your mind to look for the good, you start seeing more of it. It grows, like a garden you water daily. And speaking of watering, let's not forget this: happy women drink their water. Sounds silly, right? But you'd be amazed how many of us forget. Our bodies are mostly water, and yet we treat hydration like an afterthought. I've made it a little ritual. I pour my water into a pretty glass, sometimes with a slice of lemon or a few berries, and I sit down to drink it like it's tea with a friend. Taking care of your body, even in small ways like this, is an act of self-respect. There's something else I've noticed, too. The women who smile the most, who glow from the inside out, they speak kindly to others, yes, but especially to themselves. You'd be surprised how many of us have a little voice in our heads that's been unkind for decades. You're too slow. You forgot again. You should look better. That voice is not your friend. So, what if we started talking to ourselves the way we talk to someone we love? With patience. With humor. With softness. I make it a point, when I catch myself being critical, to stop and say, "Hey now, be nice." And then I say something better, like, "You're doing your best," or, "It's okay to rest." These small shifts? They change the way you move through your day. They change how you feel in your own skin. Now that we've talked about letting go, staying creative, finding gratitude, hydrating, and being kind to ourselves, there's another gentle habit that brings so much peace into my life. We slow down on purpose. Not because we have to, though let's be honest, our knees sometimes insist, but because we choose to. The happiest women I know, including myself, have stopped rushing. We've traded hustle for presence. I remember a time when I used to try and do everything at once: laundry, phone calls, cooking, worrying. Always worrying. But now, I take my time. I sip my tea slowly, let it warm my hands. I walk a little slower and actually notice the birds singing, or the way a flower has bloomed since yesterday. I listen fully when someone's talking, instead of thinking about what I'll say next. There's a kind of power in slowing down. Life feels richer, deeper, more meaningful. And when you've lived this long, you realize the little things aren't little at all. They are the big things. And here's something else happy women do: we laugh. Oh, do we laugh? Even if it's just at ourselves. Especially at ourselves. You've got to keep a sense of humor. I once wore mismatched shoes to church and didn't even notice until someone asked if I was starting a trend. You know what I did? I said, fashion is about confidence, and walked a little taller. We take life seriously, sure, we've lived through loss, change, uncertainty. But we don't take ourselves too seriously. That's the difference. We laugh at the absurdities. We let ourselves be silly. We watch comedies, read lighthearted books, or share funny stories from the past that still make us giggle. Laughter is medicine, and it's free. And when we laugh with someone else, it's twice as powerful. Another thing I truly believe in, and I see this in every woman who's aging joyfully, is purpose. We wake up knowing why we're getting out of bed. It doesn't have to be a grand, world-changing mission. Sometimes it's taking care of a garden. Sometimes it's volunteering at the library, watching the grandchildren, or writing letters to old friends. Sometimes, your purpose for the day might be making a really good pot of soup. That's more than enough. Purpose is simply feeling needed, by yourself, by someone else, or by the life you're still building. We don't retire from meaning. We don't outgrow usefulness. We are useful, even if it's just showing someone how to slow down and live more gently. And you know what all of this comes down to? Choice. Every day, happy women choose to live, not just exist. We choose to care, to connect, to reflect, and to keep moving forward. We don't wait for someone else to come along and make us feel happy. We create it ourselves, in small, beautiful ways. I know, life isn't always easy. Some days, the aches are louder than the joy. Some days, memories knock you off your feet when you least expect them. And some days, you just feel invisible. But you are not. You are not. You are still here, still needed, still wonderfully you. And every day you choose joy, peace, movement, connection, you are rewriting the story of what it means to age. So let's take a moment to breathe that in, to remember that happiness isn't a destination, it's a daily practice. It's in how we greet the morning, how we move our bodies, how we speak to ourselves, and how we open our hearts to whatever comes. Here's to you, yes, you, for showing up for yourself today, for listening, for choosing to live your life with warmth and intention. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you feel even a little more inspired to bring light into your own day, in whatever way feels right for you. And I'd truly love to hear what brings you joy. What little daily habits keep your spirit smiling? Share them with us in the comments. Let's lift each other up. And if this video warmed your heart, go ahead and give it a like. It helps more beautiful souls like you find their way here. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like more moments like this, where we remind each other that age is just a number, and happiness? That's ageless. Here's to living your best life at any age. Stay bright, stay kind, and keep that wonderful smile of yours shining.